A lot of stuff in the book. I have to say the summer around here is like sunset.
Okay.
It really is.
Sorry for the late start, but here we go.
I was worried I was gonna be super late.
Does anyone have to leave at 12?
I do, but I've kind of run through
You
this a couple
have.
times with you.
You'll just, the end part is the marketing section.
Okay.
So pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to be going through the categories of the marketing section, which you have seen before. Okay, so here we are. Once we log in, and by the way, if you wanted to log in on the website, it's supremeagentapp.com. If you want to get the app on your phone, you search Supreme Agent 1. You have to write out the word 1, and it is in the App Store.
Or I can share it with you guys.
Yes.
Can you? Wait, I found it already. I just want the one from my computer.
Okay. Yeah, so supremeagentapp.com. Now, whenever you log in, and by the way, if you are on the go, if things are hectic for you, if you're questioning the results that you're getting off of here, you're always welcome to reach out to Brooke White. For those of you on the recording who can't see her visually right here. No, I don't even have the camera on. Don't even worry about it. Brooke White from our Suntree office is here. So you can always reach out to her and kind of get a verification on the quote or whatever kind of help you need. I also am help available to you about the app. I definitely know more of like the nitty gritty ins and outs. But as far as like the title stuff, that's Brooke. All right, so when you open it up, no matter if it's on your phone or on desktop, it's going to automatically open to the buyer tab. So just pay attention to that. If you are quickly trying to run a seller quote, make sure you switch over to that tab before you do so. I am going to start with the buyer quote though. So I'm going to add an address. I like to use the ones that I have on, I use the same address on either side so you can kind of see the difference of what it pulls for a buyer and pulls for a seller. All right, so this is my address. As soon as I click on it, which by the way, it's powered by Google, so it's going to pull the address based on Google. And if you are pulling a condo building, it'll actually pop up with the unit numbers or letters so that you can pick the appropriate unit. And the reason being, it pulls the taxes. So here we have what they call home link. And they found an estimated annual property tax to be of $2,800, just above. So this is based off of the most recent tax bill. And by the way, this is Tracy's house. So Tracy has been living in this house for 18 years, almost 19. And that's what I'm saying. So in the Atlantic, we're not seeing taxes this low, right? Not anymore.
Yeah.
She's just grandfathered into the tax amount. But what that means is you can let your client know, hey, this tax amount is much lower than what you're going to be seeing. But it also gives us a suggestion for the taxes that we're going to see more toward the end of the quote. So we'll kind of touch on this again. But for right now, this is what it's giving me based off of the most recent tax bill that the current owner has received. So I'm going to hit done. Now I can pick the transaction type. We have conventional, all cash, everything in between. I am going to keep it at conventional. So for the home price, I'm going to do a nice even $500,000. My down payment, something that's really cool on here, like little things that just kind of save you time here and there. Like as soon as you get to 100 or above, it'll just switch automatically to a dollar amount rather than a percentage. But I'm going to put it at not 120%, 20% to avoid PMI. Our interest rate, that is what the national average is right now. If I were to do this training for you again next week, and they changed the interest rates on Monday of next week, it will reflect here. So it's very important if you're going to keep this tab open on your computer, always reload it before you run another quote or log out and log back in. Same thing on your phone. You can keep it open. Just make sure you have automatic updates on for your phone so that it can continually update not just interest rates, but also any payoff information and the marketing materials. So it's definitely important to keep it refreshed always.
We can change it, like if they're buying points down.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. Any field you can really type into right there. And anywhere that you see a gear, I'm going to touch on that right here, is something that you can click into to get details on. So I am going to keep the 30-year term. You see, you can obviously put in the commission, and it doesn't have to be commission. So you see this little drop down right here. I can click that, and now we have different types of compensation available. So you can do that right here. You can obviously change the number, but then you can also say if it's paid by buyer, seller, or split. Seller concessions, you have a field for that now. They added that pretty recently, which I thought was cool. Now, miscellaneous. So this is what I'm talking about with a little gear next to it. It brings up a pop-up. And it's different things that you can add to the buyer's closing costs or subtract from the buyer's closing costs. If you hit the drop down, there's some common items in there that you would see on either side. But you can always type in the item name, type in the amount, and you can add it in there. You can add as many fields as you want on both sides, and then you just hit done, and it'll add it to the final closing costs. Our hazard insurance is going to stay at that 1.5%, as we know. Real estate taxes, there's that amount that it pulled for us, but when I hit compute, it's going to pop up again with that suggestion I was referring to. So the HOA, you can do annual, monthly, or quarterly. For those crazy listings in SunTree that have like 3 to 5 different HOAs, I've talked to the developers of this app, which, by the way, if you have suggestions on improvements, or if you want to see something added or taken away, or if you feel it could be shown better, please let me know, because they are so responsive about suggestions. Since they don't necessarily work directly in the industry, they want our feedback so that, you know, we're the ones working on it, right? So with those HOAs, instead of all those fields, they said, Rose, just add them up, make it annual, or add them up and divide it, make them quarterly if there's multiple of them on there. So I know that she's got $225 a month. So I'm going to put that there. Now our closing date, it is set for today, which we know we want to push it out by a month. And the reason we want to change that is for the prorations. It's going to adjust how the HOA and the taxes and the doc stamps or different things are going to prorate. So now when I hit compute, this is my next pop-up about my taxes. So here's the recorded tax for that grandfathered in amount. Here is their estimate based off of that $500,000 sales price. But this is saying Cape Canaveral. We're not in Cape Canaveral. We're in Indialantic. So that little drop down, I can hit that. And now I get all the millage rates in the county. So I can go to Indialantic and I hit that little check, hit done. And now it's based off the Indialantic amount, which is crazy. Yes, yes. No problem. Here, I have to go back out though and press compute again.
That is a really good tool because you know
Oh, no.
when they escrow their payments for their first, their first year,
Hold on, I just have to start over real quick.
they don't usually escrow
The next
with the
year's
amount,
taxes.
the
Mhm.
next amount. So that's a really good tool to prepare your clients.
Hold on, let me just
for
I have to
the
start
increase
over. I'll
in
show you too.
payments.
Especially with new builds, whenever they're paying the taxes just on land and not on the
Yeah.
property.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and that's right. So while I pull this up again, when you're presenting this to your client, no matter what numbers you're using, it's a preliminary estimate. This is not their final numbers. This is not a final CD nor an Alta, none of that. So when you tell them that and they see this crazy amount for the taxes, you say, whoa, 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 this is the very tippy top of what could possibly be your taxes. But it's not including homestead exemption or any other exemptions they might be qualified for. So you let them know that.
And they also get assessed at a lesser value.
Yes.
So it's-
Right.
Yeah.
And but so you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't I just show them that lower $2,800 amount and tell them that their taxes are going to be higher? Why don't I make an estimate? You can. If you want to do that math with the millage rate, because they give you the millage rate, there's a calculator for that on Google. You just Google calculator millage rate Brevard. It'll be right there. But if you want to just use the number that they give you, it's better to be a hero, not a zero. It's better at the end of things to have saved them money rather than they get to their final numbers and they end up having to pay more for those taxes. And they're like, what the heck? This is all your fault, Natalie. You did this. No, you didn't. But it's hard to convince them otherwise. So that's my suggestion of how to kind of go about that. It's totally up to you though. I didn't have anything here. I had 225 and I pushed this out. Okay, so I'm showing it to you again. So when you press compute, I'm at the very end of my quote. I press compute and it's just automatically popping up again. So I have the option to click this one or click this one. To change the millage rate, I'm just going to hit that little arrow right there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
You also can get to the millage rates. So I'm just going to select it for the sake of our quote really quick. I don't have to go back again. So now, like once I select it, it kind of goes away. But I can go into the gear right here. And that's like, if I want to enter it manually, I can just do that right there. Okay, but I'm gonna hit back and I'm gonna hit done. I'm gonna select the 9,200. But when you're on see the tax right here, this field, well, let me scroll back down right there. So this field right here, you hit that little gear, you get all the millage rates again. So if you wanted, like, you can even skip that whole step of like selecting which one or whatever. You can just go to that drop down next to the tax field right here. Oh, get out of here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can just go right into that gear, and that gear will give you all the millage rates. And you can actually take them away. That's why when I just popped that up, there were a bunch of X's. You could like get rid of the Titusville one. You could get rid of Grant Valcaria. Like if you know you're never going to have a listing there or something, like you could always get rid of it.
Also, but to add to that, when we do closing statements, we do last year's tax bill or the most current tax bill. So that's part of the contract. So when you give the buyer estimate up front, we'll probably use the existing tax bill because that's what we're going to base it off of.
Yeah.
At closing.
Right. Did that make sense? Okay, cool. So once you hit compute and you've selected your taxes, you figured that all out, this is what you're just going to see as like a quick end screen. And this is showing two different sides, obviously your monthly payment and your bring to close. So let's say you are actively in a meeting with your clients and you're running these numbers right in front of them, or you're on the phone with them and you kind of tell them, all right, so what we got as a result was $4,046 per month for your monthly payment. They say, oh, well, Lisa, I told you when we met that first time, my budget for this, I can only afford no more than $3,500 a month. That's my cap for my monthly payment. So you say, okay, client, let's try to work the numbers and make this happen. So you can press edit right here. And now I adjust this number to be that 3,500 of their budget. And now when I hit done, the whole rest of the quote is going to recalculate around that number, around the monthly payment. So now, okay, client, here we are. We can get you that $3,500 monthly payment, but you're going to have to bring more like 36% down rather than that 20% down. Do you have the liquid cash to make that happen? No, you don't? Well, maybe we need to realign our expectations on the type of home that we're looking for and the price point we're looking at. And you're now able to guide them in that right direction that you know is the right direction without you having to be the bad guy. You are giving them this bad news like, hey, I know you really love this home. Unfortunately, you're looking right at this with me. You can't afford it. But you don't have to say that to them. You get to show it to them. And I don't care what anyone says, every single human is a visual learner. We all learn best by looking at something. Not to mention, when you send this to somebody, it mentally kind of convinces them that they're the ones that came up with the idea instead of you. It's a little reverse psychology there. So let's say they had a little more flexibility on their monthly payment, but they had less to bring to the closing table. You could always press edit on this side and make that adjustment as well. I'm going to keep it the way it is right now just for the sake of what we're doing. So at the top of my estimate, and if I was on my phone, all I would do is swipe to the left from the estimate or swipe to the right from the estimate. So if I swipe to the left, I get a modified offer tool. So they just threw that together, like an AI just threw that together. And it's a modified offer with a higher sales price, right? We were looking at 500 even. This is saying, oh, offer a little more, 517. You get a little higher monthly payment, less to the closing table. So this is what they just kind of put on here as an option. You definitely don't have to use it this way. If you press edit, you can make the adjustments that you want, or if you're working alongside your lender, to work with these buyers, you can always have your lender sign up for this as well. And you can work symbiotically side by side and get quotes that make sense, right? For the lender, for the buyer, for you, everybody around. Once you've made that modified offer, you can use it, and then it sends as a really nice PDF. If I were to swipe to the right from the estimate, I get loan details. It just breaks down everything that we've done over here, including a full amortization schedule, which is useful, as we know, with like investors and engineers and lawyers. They all like to see that kind of stuff up front. You have it right here. You don't have to bother anybody. Not that you're a bother at all, but you don't have to ask anybody for it. You have it all at your fingertips. So this you can also download as a PDF or send it directly via email. Now back at the estimate, I have this little button down here. It looks like a phone with some arrows because that's exactly what it is. And if you're using your phone, you have to turn off that portrait lock, and then you turn your phone to the side, and this is what you get. Or you hit the button on here. How offer price can affect my payment. So this client that's saying that they can't afford more than $3,500 a month, but you know, the sales price of this home is $515, and the sellers are probably not going to agree to that lower sales price. So you say, hey, if we offer $10,000 more, it makes our offer much more competitive, and it's only going to raise your monthly payment by $42 a month. That's like not even a dinner, a lunch. That's like a lunch out with your spouse these days with no drinks. So can you give up one lunch per month with your spouse to be able to afford your dream home? Can you eat at home that day? I think most people would say yes. It kind of puts it in perspective. So I feel that this tool is very powerful. You can make adjustments to it. So again, anywhere that you see a gear, you can get more details on. So I hit the gear. I can change the increments. It doesn't have to be 10,000. I can make the results show differently. So this is showing, as you saw that, the plus 42. I can show them as totals. So if I update that, now it's showing just the total, right, instead of the plus 42. Just different, depending how people like to look at it. And then there's that universal share button that you can hit and then share it to your clients.
That's really cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm so glad you're here right now. So let's say I've made all my adjustments. Oh, one thing I haven't showed you yet. So detailed closing costs. You can hit that, and it does break down all the closing costs that you would see at Supreme Title, and also prepaid costs. You even have the loan policy costs, everything. So there's X's here. If you know your buyer client doesn't need a survey, you can take it off right here. If, to save the deal, Supreme Title has negotiated the closing fee down a little bit, you can adjust that here. What I wouldn't suggest adjusting at all, which you can't really, are these preset, the doc stamps and everything. But it does, you can see prorate the HOAs and everything, and there's that prorated tax. It's actually off right now because I had that for another quote. So good.
Does the seller usually pay the doc stamps?
Say that again.
Doesn't the seller usually pay doc stamps?
On deeds only.
Okay.
So when they have a mortgage, there's doc stamps on the
Got
mortgage
it.
and intangibles. So
Okay.
if they have a credit union, you can remove the intangible tax.
Got it, okay,
It's because you can remove the intangible tax.
got it.
And this is why I don't do title.
And then if buyer's covering owner's policy, we can just change it there, that
Mhm.
buyer's.
Well, that's different. Now, that's a loan policy. Yeah,
Right, right.
oh, okay, the owner's policy,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
correct, yeah.
And see, right now it is
Yeah.
showing paid by the seller.
Defaults to the seller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's because we're in Brevard. So because Supreme Title has 2 offices in Vero Beach, I don't know if everyone knew that. We do have 2 offices in Vero. We have this app available in Indian River as well. There's actually multiple counties that you can pull from here. So I can show you really quick. So if you hit right here under the title, we have all of these different counties.
So that's good for you, Lisa, because we do a lot in some of them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I found that just a minute ago.
All right, so we've looked at pretty much everything as far as the little adjustments that we can make here. I think I'm ready to share this PDF with my clients. So I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit share or print PDF. And what I get over here, so right now is where I like to mention about the premium of this app. So this app, Supreme Title, pays to host this app. This is our gift to you because it is so valuable, and that is what we are all about, is providing value. It's, yes, we prioritize getting your clients to the closing table in a smooth, easy transaction, providing great customer service. Those are our top priorities. But our relationships with you, the realtors, are so crucial to our business, and we respect how alone you are in your business, and we respect how busy you are. So we try to take the burden off as much as we can. That's why we provide this tool. The developers of this app, they had to charge something for the marketing materials legally with RESPA and everything for you guys. So what they did, they made it as inexpensive as they possibly could. It really breaks the bank. It is $10 for the entire year for the premium. The whole year is $10. So I implore you to get the premium. The $10 is 100% worth it, because not only do you get all of the marketing materials that they provide, it also gives you personal branding on everything that you push out from this app. So that means when you have the premium, like I do, of course, you have all of your personal information here. All your logo is here. Normally my headshot would be right here. I just updated it, and I need
It's
to,
in the works.
yeah, I need to contact them because it's like not saving properly on my profile, of course. But yeah, anyway, it would normally show up right here. You would have your headshot, but look how this breaks down. I mean, it looks so nice. It looks really well prepared. You have everything broken down on a little pie graph, and then the numbers, and it even goes on to this next page, and there's our totals. It looks really nice. You even have, with the premium, all these other templates that you can use to send that quote to your clients. You also have a lot of different customization options. So when we hit customize, I can actually translate this into 14 different languages with one click of a button. I'm sorry, you have Vietnamese clients? Now you can provide them a quote in their language. Like, it's powerful, you know? It verifies for people that they made the right choice with who they picked as their realtor, because you respect where they've come from, all those kinds of things. So you can choose your footer. Everything is really customizable on here. But I'm going to update, make sure it's in English so we can read it. All right. So once I'm ready to send it out, I have a few options. I can email it directly through the app. So you put your client's emails in right there. Your email will automatically be CC'd right there. You have a nice little subject line, summary of the numbers, and then the full attachment right there. One caveat to this is that it does come from Palm Agent. That's what the incoming email looks like for your clients. It looks like it's coming from this Palm Agent instead of you. So you could press send, make that happen. You just let your clients know, hey, it's an email coming in from the company name Palm Agent. Or you can always download it and then send it to your clients through your own email server. So it comes directly from you. Both totally available to you. So when you download it, if you're going to email it, definitely download a PDF. But you can also download as a PNG or a JPEG, which is a photo. Print it, social share. Now that's an interesting one for a quote, right? Like a specific quote for a client. Why would you want to social share it? That's actually a better question for the home reports. Segue. So these home reports are probably one of my favorite things on the app. I think it's so powerful as far as what you can provide. You can use it for so many different things, and it saves you time and liability. So there's a bunch of different ones. I like this one, local guide. It tells you the convenience. It tells you the schools nearby with the ratings. What kind of restaurants can you expect in the vicinity? What are the internet speed comparisons? How's the walking score, the sound score? Like, it's cool stuff, like things that people would actually want to know if they're moving into this area that they might not be familiar with. The obvious one, right, is to send it to out-of-town buyers who aren't familiar with the area. But what about printing it out for your open houses for people who are walking in off the street who aren't familiar with the area? What about making it part of your listing presentation? Like, hey, I have all this information about your house in addition to information about your neighborhood, to really capture those buyers. It's just another little extra something that you can provide those people to, again, make them feel very confident in choosing you as their realtor. You can also use this for that social share button, and you can share this based off of one of your listings so people can get an idea of the area as well. And they have so many different ones that are like very tailored to different demographics. So this one specifically is a family home report. There's a graphic of a family on it. It has more detailed information about the schools and like parks and recreation, things that you would do with a family. And it actually gives you a little quote overview at the top that you can make adjustments to, of course. But just a little different. It's much more colorful, you know, so you want to pay attention to the type of person you're sending this to. This one is very clean, very professional looking, and they actually recently made it you available to change this photo, so you can actually make this the photo of your listing right there in the corner, which is very cool. Do we have any questions before I move on to the seller side?
The only question I have is, I know that you said that the interest rate it pulls from the national average.
Mhm.
Does it change, like, because FHA is usually different than conventional, so if you select FHA, will it give you the FHA?
It should.
national average?
Yeah, it should. Let me we can go look at that right now. So if I were to change this to FHA, yep,
There you go.
boom
Oh, wait,
shakalaka.
no, that's the down payment, scroll down.
No, right here. Oh, you're right.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
6.8 to 6.3,
Mhm.
okay, cool.
Ooh, that's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But you have PMI for
Yeah.
life.
For life. All right. That was the only question we had on buyer side.
That's all I got.
That's a good question, though. I've never actually had that question before. Good on you. All right. So on to the seller. And this one goes by much more quickly since we've pretty much looked at everything on the quoting side. So I'm putting in my same address because I want to. Oh, hello. Numbers first, Rose. Numbers first. Okay. Oh my God, you guys. That's so funny. I never shared my screen with the Zoom. It's fine. I have so many other recordings I can provide you, like that first half. I'll cut it together. And so it's like one continuous thing. I know. It's been a day. It's really been a day. Had a really rough morning. Okay, so now that we're actually here. All right, awesome. So there is our taxes again. Okay. So I'm going to hit next. Now, because I'm on the seller side, it's asking me for an interest rate. So I'm going to put in what I know is Tracy's interest rate. And I know that our Tracy, that lucky duck, she has a 2.5 interest rate. Actually, I'm sorry, 2.25. Oh, that's not. There we go. If I didn't know that, though, I could ask my client, right? Or I could just kind of take their suggestion right here. So the average interest rate was 2.915% for November of 2021. So
It
you
was
have,
accurate when I used it recently.
Yeah.
so.
it's close enough. I mean, it's going to be close enough. And I would keep it at the 2.9 and run it that way. So hold on though. Didn't I mention that Tracy's been in this house for 18 years? So what happened in November of 2021? What happened?
You died, they put in a trust.
Less dark, refinance. I'm totally kidding with you. So it was a refinance though. So she refinanced the home, and that's why it's the most recent loan that was recorded, right? For this amount. So when I hit compute, this is what it's giving me as her payoff. So if Tracy was in the room right now, I'd be like, hey, Tracy, what's your payoff? What is it really? She'd be like, you know, it's closer to like 211, like 210. So why is it off by so much? I'll tell you. Because it is assuming regular payments on a 30-year fixed loan. Tracy has a 15-year loan. And at the beginning of the loan, she was making extra payments for a while, for like 8 months. So what I can do is I can press edit right under this number. And now all I have to do, like those extra payments, I can kind of leave by the wayside. All I really have to do is change this to a 15-year term and hit compute. There's my number. And that's much closer. It probably is that by now because I've been saying 211 for like 8 months at this point. So 208 is really much more what Tracy has as her payoff. And even if it's off by like a couple $1,000s, that's okay. It's not going to make or break the quote like $30,000 discrepancy would have. You know, that was egregious. But right now, if it was a little bit off, it's going to be okay. So I am going to use it for the estimate. Now I'm going to roll through this pretty quickly. 500,000. There's both sides of the commission on here. And you can adjust that to be paid by whichever party, and you can adjust the numbers if you're doing 2.5, whatever it is. There's that field for seller concessions again. If there's repairs or anything that you need to itemize out as far as adding it to the closing cost, don't forget you have this miscellaneous to add or subtract from the seller's closing costs. There's different options in the drop down here than there were on the other side. But you can always just type in the items, add as many fields, et cetera, et
For
cetera.
seller contributions, is that gonna be the same, is that gonna be synonymous with seller concessions?
That's totally up to the contract. You know, it would be whatever you guys have on there.
Okay.
So you can put it in either field, wherever it makes sense to you. If it's a concession or if it's just a contribution, if that really is the same thing, then you can use both or either one. Because it'll just show up in the same place.
Got it.
All right, so there's our taxes, and it is going to pull that most recent tax bill, not giving us that other option because now we are on the seller side, not the buyer side. So it doesn't need to give us a projection of anything. That HOA was 225. There's her loan balance, her interest rate. It did already push out the closing date by a month. Reissue rate or reissue credit, real easy concept. If you sell the home within 3 years of the purchase, you get a discount on your title policy. Selling the home within 3 years of the purchase, and it has to be 3 years to the day. And they get a discount on their title policy. And the title policy doesn't have to have originated with Supreme Title for us to provide the discount. All right, so here's my end screen. This is if I was, working with Tracy as her realtor, this is what I would tell her. Hey, Tracy, like you'll be netting about $252,900 on this home at a sales price of $500,000. Oh, Rose, I told you that I need to net $325,000 and no less. I will not accept any less. So there's that edit button again. I put in that $325,000, already rallying myself to have this difficult conversation because I know what this $325,000 is going to do. You know what this $325,000 is going to do. It's hiking that sales price up a lot. To a point that we know the comps are not going to support, that we know this home is going to sit on the market for like 6 months to a year if we list it at this price. And you tell Tracy that. All right, Trace, I understand what the goal is with the $325,000. I get it. But based off of your numbers and based off of the comps that I pulled in this area, unfortunately, a sales price of $577,000 is just not going to be feasible. You're not going to sell the home. It's going to be sitting for quite a while. And she says, so what? Oh, who cares? I'll let it sit. I'm in no rush. Is that the answer you wanted? Nope. Well, then this is the tool for you, Miss Natalie. Because
I have used this and I love this.
this is Tracy's favorite part of the app. Like for real, this is the best. So you're at the net sheet. If you're on your phone, you swipe to the right. Okay, Tracy, you can hold on to that house for as long as you want. 6, 9, 12 months. But this is the amount of money you're going to be spending. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? But check that out. All we're including at this point is insurance, interest, taxes, and HOA. Where's the principal? Where's the pool care, the lawn care, the home cleaner, pressure washing guy that comes once a month? Anything the utility bills, the water bills, anything that's a monthly recurring expense, you add that because the higher that number goes, the more they're going to go like, oh crap. That is your holding cost. That is exactly what that is. that it explains it to them very clearly what this is. So when you want to make those adjustments to the expenses, you edit expenses, and it doesn't look like there's many fields, but you can put a lot of them under other. Okay, so that monthly utilities, take the last 3 bills of electric, last 3 bills of water, average, add them together, there's your utilities. Everything else can go under other. And when they ask, what's other? You tell them lawn care, pool care, your home cleaner, your, the dryer vent guy. I don't know. He probably shouldn't be coming once a month, but either way, whatever their monthly expenses are, you put them here. So when you hit that, you can also adjust the timeline. So right now we're looking at the longer timeline of 3 to 12 months. You can also switch it from months to days, and it's going to show you a 1 to 4 month timeline. So it's just a little shorter. Do we like that? Megan, do we like that? Okay.
All of it.
Yay! So you can also share or print that as a PDF as well. Really clean looking, looks super nice when you send it. And that again is to the right of the net sheet. If you're on your phone, you would just swipe to the right and it gets you that holding cost tool. If you were to swipe to the left, you have a multiple offers tool. This was really useful in 2021. Like really useful. Now, not so much. Manifest.
That was a crazy market, man.
It was, right? My God, I was doing closings like all day, every day. It was brutal.
Really? Oh my God. You didn't experience it. That's why you want it. Oh my God.
So right here, we have the offer that we put together over on the left. You can really get into the details of this, like for real contingencies, escalation clauses, notes, the buyer agent name, all of it. There's that miscellaneous tab again for any additions or subtractions right in there. So you can add as many new offers as you need to. Let's say you get 5 offers, but you've met with your clients enough to know that 2 of those offers are really going to get them what they want. You can list out all 5 and then just put a little star next to the 2 that are the best. And that way they feel like they're really being kept in the loop, as you know. All right. So once you're ready, you can just send that. You can edit and then send as a PDF right there. All right. Back to my net sheet. I can still make adjustments to the closing costs the way that I did on the buyer side. And then I do still have this button, the one with the phone and the arrows, to where I turn it to the side. Now, I will say on the buyer side, it definitely has oomph. On the seller side, not so much. I mean, I feel like it's very like obvious. Like, okay, if you accept an offer 10,000 more, you're going to net about 10,000 more. Right. So you still have it though. You do. You have it. Use it at your leisure. Now, sharing or printing my PDF, once I've made all my adjustments, I do still have the quote templates available, but those home reports are not on the seller side. The home reports are only available in 2 places on the app, and that's through a buyer estimate or in the premium tab under standard infographics. Okay. Do we have, and we can still customize, change our languages. And by the way, when you select a different template, let's say this one, certain features are available that maybe aren't on other templates. So like once I hit customize after I switch to this one, I actually can pick the color now. So it can, Supreme title and KW red, same. Yeah, and my photo would normally show up right here, but it's not right now. And you can add notes, all that good stuff. All right, so I'm going to change it back. Actually, you know what? I want to leave it red. So do we have any questions on the seller side before I jump into the marketing? We cool? Cool. All right. So really quick, let's just look at the calculators page because there's so many on there. You can really run anything and everything. They have over 14 different calculators. Like I said before, I encourage you to ask your lenders, your preferred lenders, to get on here with you because there's a lot of incredible lender tools like buy down calculators. Then versus now, that's for comparing interest rates, monthly affordability, buy now or buy later, a compensation calculator, home equity calculator. Which one?
Rent versus buy.
Yes, rent versus buy is a great one. There's so many materials about rent versus buy. And these are really cool too. So iBuyers are those online seller representations like Redfin, Open Door, Zillow, like where you don't have a realtor. So this actually compares the cost of selling to an iBuyer versus the cost of listing on the open market with a realtor.
You could literally do an entire seller seminar through this app.
You can do a lot of things with this app. So many things. You can even pull TRID if you wanted to.
I'm about to.
Yeah,
I just paid for the subscription.
yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it's so worth it. And you know
Yeah,
what?
it's-
Because you guys showed up today, stayed, and gave me your time, I'm gonna send you $10 Amazon gift cards to make up for that premium. Yeah, no. It's our treat. Come on, 3 of you. It's not big of a deal. It's really gonna break our month, let me tell you. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Of course. So yeah, if you are exploring these calculators and you have questions, I'm always here for you. But there's this really nifty little chat box right here in the corner. They're 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Very responsive. And they're super cool. They're great people. So never hesitate on reaching out to them if you have questions or if for some reason I'm not available. All right. So if you were to have saved any of your estimates on the buyer seller tabs, your saved estimates are right here in the estimates tab. If you're on your phone, you just open the hamburger menu, the 3 lines, and the saved estimates are in there. All right, drum roll, please. Let's do premium. Woo! Coffee break. Okay. So, hey, anybody know our guy Tom Ferry? We know Tom Ferry? Yeah, this is his favorite app, like ever. He said
he does whole,
he does webinars on this
yeah,
app,
he
seminars
does.
on this
That's
app.
where I was kind of first introduced to this.
This
It was
is
on an
his
hour,
jam.
you
He
know?
said this is the real estate's #1 assistant app. Like he's like, this, if you don't have this app and you're a realtor, what are you doing? That's what he says basically. So every for $10, it's like,
Is it exclusive to Supreme Title?
so we were the first to have them. Other title companies followed suit. I don't blame them. It's a great app, but I am the most knowledgeable. And I'm not just tooting a horn, okay? I really am. Like I took time to learn the ins, outs, backwards, forwards, sideways of this app. I'm the only one at any title company that provides trainings on this app. So Supreme Agent 1 is our branded app. The other title companies, if they have it, it will be branded to them. So it'll just have like their name before it instead of ours. But I implore you to use ours and not theirs. All right. So this little kind of slideshow at the top, at the beginning of every month, it will pop up. Go back to the beginning. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. So this will actually pop up like this at the beginning of the month, a monthly marketing package. So if you are busier than a one-arm paper hanger, like Megan over there, or if you've got so much going on with your extracurriculars, like Lisa over here, this is a great tool to have because it gives you everything that just got added to the marketing side that month, all their updates based off of what's going on in the market. And it's 4 different suggestions. So if you don't have the time, energy, or space to really comb through the marketing side of this app and pull what you want, just take the 4 posts that it suggests because it's going to be relevant and it's going to have value and it's going to keep you relevant on social media. You'll at least have 1 post per week for that month that you can then supplement with your just solds and your just listeds and under contract posts that you always make, which there's tools for that on here too. No, what's going on?
How do I get to June? So at the very top, right here, like with that little arrow, that's the very beginning. All right, December. Keep going. And you'll get to June.
So when you get to June, you just click that. But at the beginning of the month, it'll pop up automatically.
Okay.
So let's take a look at it. First of all, they do a little video right here to kind of explain.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'll make sure you get the recording. No worries.
Thanks. See you later.
They make a little video to explain the decisions that they made, why they made the infographics, why they pushed the videos that they did. So it just kind of explains what's going on in the market. Really keeps your finger on the pulse. I love that phrase, but it does. It keeps your finger on the pulse of what's going on nationally in the market. So this is their first suggestion: print material. The longer it takes, the less you make. Kind of a holding cost situation here. Okay, it's an infographic. Then the next suggestion is social content, cash flow or cash out. Is it better to rent or sell? Great little infographic. And everything that they make on here is digestible for like anybody. You know, you don't have to have experience buying or selling a home as a consumer to understand the information that's being pushed on these, which is great. Their third suggestion is inventory levels over time, and it's in the form of a video, which is a personalized video with your branding on it. We'll show you that in a minute. And then the last suggestion is a social media filter, a National Home Ownership Month. So that is technically a photo that they uploaded into this frame. Another dream unlocked. Love that. All right, so let's take a look at all the categories. There's so many. Hey, Mike. That's my guy, Mike. Okay. So we have two categories for infographics. We have singular infographics that used to be called standard infographics. That's why I said that earlier for the home reports. I gotta remember that. Singular infographics and swipeable. So the swipeable are gonna have multiple pages. A lot of the time, the information will overlap. So which one? There we go. So home price equation, home price equation. You see that? It's the exact same thing. So why would they have it in two categories? Because one category has it all on one page and the other category spreads the information onto multiple pages. And I'll show you why that's useful to you. So on the standard infographics, this is the other place you find those home reports. The home reports are in the buyer tab when you run a buyer estimate and in the premium tab under singular infographics. And you have to keep them shaped standard. Once you hit one of the other shapes, for some reason, the home reports go away. They made it like that. I don't know. They do everything for a reason though. So if I, instead of having to scroll through all of this content, I mean, look how much there is. And if you are going to scroll down, something like a home report is timeless. That's always going to be relevant. But make sure that if you're scrolling down to grab something else, like, what is tax adjusted payment, whatever it might be, just make sure that it's current for the time. Like some of them say winter or spring or summer or whatever. Just make sure it makes sense for right now. So there's a lot of great ones on here, and all of those home reports, community guides. And I did mention that there's different ones for different demographics, right? We looked at that family home report. I'm a millennial that bought a home for my dog. I'm one of those. I have no children. I have no plans on having any children, but I have a 65-pound lab that needed a bigger backyard. Okay. She deserved it.
The house specifically because of the placement of where the American flags were for my neighbors. So, because my son loves American flags.
I love that.
I'm in between two houses that have big flagpoles with American flags.
That's
That was
amazing.
intentional. So.
So, but like, if you were going to provide a quote to me, or like a home report to me, are you going to send me the family home report?
No.
I hope not. Or else you weren't paying attention to me at all. Like you don't know me as a client if you send me something like that. But if you were to send me one like this, where it doesn't have, look, it even says no school. This is a home report with no school information on it. I'd love to get that because no kids, please. No kids. But there's also, I'm like also obsessed with my dog. Look at that. There's pet friendly home reports that show you like the pet convenience close by. It's so cute. It's so useful. Like this is what I would want to know. Where can I take her? Like where's the closest dog parks? Does anyone else get apprehensive when they go to say dog park because like you think your dog is gonna like, wait, we're going? So as you can see at the top, you can shape them into whatever you're using them for. I think that these singular infographics are perfect for like a Facebook post, for something on your feed, because it's one page. You only have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. That's it. So use something where all the information's on one page. Would you use something from the swipeable infographics as a post? Would you use it as a regular Facebook post on your feed? Personally, I wouldn't. Because what happens when we post something on our feed on Facebook with multiple photos? It shows up in that weird grid where it shows you like 3 of them and then it's like +3, right? No one clicks on that. Let me give you a little secret. Nobody clicks on that. So instead, I find these swipeable infographics to be absolutely perfect for your stories because it's something that you can tap through really easily. So these have, again, we have some with similar information that we saw in the singular infographics, but it spreads it out onto multiple. And the reason I didn't want to change the color from before, from the red, is because it actually pulled that red over to this infographic. So when you change something to Keller Williams red on the quoting side, it's going to pull that onto your marketing as well. So now I have multiple pages with great information. I mean, yes. And normally my photo would be right there again. So when think of that's impact right there. Not only do you have all this great information for people to tap through, you have your branding right at the end there for them to contact you. It's essentially a call to action, which you could also add on there. So something I always like to mention for this, check out we shaped it for our stories, but it didn't extend the words really. We have a negative space up here and negative space down here. And it's kind of the same way for all of them. Why would that be? Why would we have negative space there?
So we can put our own insights on it.
Because you have engagement stickers on your stories that you need to put on here. Because the more engagement stickers you use, like polls, questions, that emoji slide bar, putting a location on there, tagging someone, putting a link, all of these different things that you can do on here, that increases your views on the algorithm. It bumps you up. And I say this in my Build Your Brand on Instagram class. Instagram and Facebook is a business. What is their business? To get more people to use their platform. So the more you use the platform and use the features on it, the more they're going to bump your stuff because they see you utilizing what they have to offer and they like that. Something else you can do, and this is super pro tip, green screen, right? So you could have this as a green screen to go through and your little head is down there being like, check this out. Let's talk about this. Powerful, right? Love that. Okay, so that's my suggestion for the swipeable infographics, and you have a ton of them here. They're always updating. They actually just added this one. I haven't even seen that yet. That's cool.
These are best to send out.
You can use them however you want.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, I would say if you're going to email them, use the singular infographic so there's not as many attachments on the email. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of the information overlaps. If there's something on the swipeable side that doesn't exist up here, then you're just going to have to use the swipeable. You don't have another option. But if you can help it, I would default kind of to the singular for email. And you just want to download as a PDF. So I'm going to show you that in just a second. So I want to go back here for a moment. And let's say I had this ready to go. So I don't know if you noticed when I was using all these examples, they give you suggested captions and hashtags for everything. Look at that. So I could copy that whole thing and that I don't even have to write a caption. Or I could copy that, paste it into my chat GPT and say, rewrite this caption from my voice, make it a little shorter and give me a strong call to action at the end. And now you just rewrote the caption to be you, to be your branding. That's just a suggestion. You can copy the whole caption with that button. And then you have a share button right here. So when you go to share it, if you're going to do email, I would either download as a PDF. They have that on the the animated stuff. Forget I was going to say or. Just download it as a PDF. Period. If you're going to use it for email, that is what you want to do. If you're going to use it for social media, you can literally go straight to your Meta Business Suite if you hit schedule on Facebook, but you can also download the images. And just keep in mind, if you're on the swipeable where it has multiple images, make sure you do the plural and not the singular, because it'll just download this first one and not any of the rest. So make sure you do images. And also keep in mind, do not try to put a PDF on your social media. It will not work. I'm sure you all know, but I always have to mention it because I get those calls all the time. Rose, it's not working. Okay. Now
You can cut and paste. You can cut it.
Yeah, you can take whatever little piece of the caption you want to. And that's what I was saying about ChatGPT. Like, I think that that's a really powerful way to go about it. Take the entire caption and then just tell ChatGPT how you want it to be edited. Write it from my voice, from the perspective of a social media expert, shorten it down, only keep 2 hashtags, add a call to action, and you got it, you're done. So we had infographics, those 2 categories. Oh my gosh, that is a new one, and I'm dying. I love that so much. So there's filters, photo filters. That was on the monthly marketing package. We saw one. But you have a ton. It's, showing some for Father's Day, Happy National Homeownership Month. So these are different. Oh, like a one for Pride Month. Oh, never, just kidding. It said Pride. I was like, oh. So you have a lot of different categories. This dynamic category is amazing. Amazing. What did we just say about you have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention? That's keeping it. Okay. To actually make someone stop scrolling, you only have 1.5 seconds. A goldfish has a longer attention span, which is crazy, but that's really what it is these days. So think about your own Facebook feed when you're scrolling. Do you stop for the flat photos of homes that just have a caption? No, I don't stop for those. But would you stop for something like this, where you have the photo of the home, but now all of this other information on the actual photo itself instead of just in the caption? Yes, is the answer. You would stop. Anyone would stop. And you can customize this right here to obviously adjust the home price, the address, all of the specs, and then my photo should be right here, as usual. If you wanted to, you can actually take the photo directly on your phone with the frame around it. Like if you open the app and allow it to access your camera, you just take it directly there. Or if you take the photo ahead of time and you want to upload it into here, you can do just that. File upload once you have it on your computer. Do you have a photo on here that I could use of a home? No? Okay. So if you do, just make sure. Is there any kind of photo that I could use? Any photo at all? All right. No problem. So when you do have a photo, you know what? I don't want to just speak through it. Let me just. I'm just going to take a stock photo and save it and call it a day. Okay. Download, save. Awesome. Now, so if I file upload, and I'll delete it after, I promise. There we go. Okay. So what it's showing me is I have to crop it first. And I always want to keep in mind the frame that I've selected to use around it when I'm cropping. So think about this frame. It has something going on through the whole top section and something going on through the whole right side of the section. So I want to I don't feel that the garage is maybe the most visually appealing part. So I want to make sure that the bulk of the home is in my little frame. So this is where I'm going to put it so that when this is cut off and this is cut off, I still feel like my front door is nice and center. So just be mindful of that when you're cropping and see it. I mean, this is a very low quality photo that I got from the internet, but when it's a good photo, you see how it kind of adjusted that based off of the frame. I kept that front door kind of more in the middle of where the photo is actually showing. And you have so many different options here. There's open house options. There's this one for just listed. And this is what I mean about the frame. So I already kind of cropped this to where I put the front door here. If I were to do it for this frame, I would want the front door to be more right here. Just kind of making those adjustments. Just sold, past client equity review. There's so perfect home for your family, your dream house, luxury real estate, all different kinds of things. So many different options for your branding. It's like whoever you want to be, this app lets you be that person, be that realtor. So look at that market update. I love that one. Home seller staging tips. And we actually, on the Supreme Title website, we have a blog. And our blog has a lot of great information, including a seller staging blog, like what the value is for a seller. So if you wanted to just take 4 bullet points from our blog and use it for this post, go right ahead. If you want to use our blogs to share on social media and have more content, go right ahead.
Well, that would be really good too, because is that an uncomfortable conversation as a realtor to have, Lisa?
With certain people, probably the ones that need it the most now. There's some.
Facts.
I mean, you don't want to say, clean up your house,
Oh, yeah, yeah, you do.
But you kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
You gotta
I-
declutter. Lisa
Y'all saw me in
Lisa
action.
will, yeah.
I gotta look crazy.
It's true. It's true.
No, it matters. This is what I tell people. This is the nice way I tell them before I have to go down the not nice road. It affects the value of their home. So if you have an older AC or an older this or an older that, if even let's say if you have a new AC, if your home is maintained and it looks like you've kept up with the paint, you've kept up with this, people aren't wondering what else is going on in your house. They're not taking it apart as much. That's in my opinion. Because they're thinking, oh, they keep up with things here. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's also about people need to be able to see themselves in the home. And if you have personal photos up on the walls and picture frames of your grandkids all over the place, how can you, Brooke White, visualize you and your family being in that home if there's pictures of all this other family?
And there's people that will do it, and there's other people that go, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it all.
So true. So you remember the neighborhood home reports? They actually have them as photo filters now. Like they broke it down, like a park nearby, the sound score, what's nearby, don't know what's nearby, dream home, schools, internet speed. So all of those kind of things that we were looking at on the home reports, they spread it out into this content as well. So we love that. Then, so more categories, there's a ton of them. That was the dynamic one. Sorry, this scrolling is really fast. Okay. That was the dynamic one that I feel has a lot of impact. You're not going to have these rep filters. That's for Brooke and I, us at the title company. But you do have ones for closings, proud new homeowner, said yes to the address in all these different colors, which obviously we would all use red. In escrow. So these are great. And when you close a Supreme Title, we always encourage taking a closing photo with your clients afterwards. What a great way to acknowledge them and their exciting day, by putting it around a beautiful frame and putting it up there on the social medias. Then you have ones for listings. I think this one's great. Happiness is homemade. I mean, if that's not a Lisa Ruscher vibe, I don't know what is. Right? So open house category, which there were a lot of open house ones on the dynamic. So keep that in mind. There's some there that aren't on the open house category. Hashtag realtor life. Okay. You got all these different things here. I want some selfies as a queen of multiple offers. Megan, that you? I think that's you.
I hated that time.
It was not a fun time for anybody. Good time for your wallets though.
No, well,
Real good time. And then
good time for lawsuits, because once you started like factoring in like escalation clauses and all of that, like there's not a doubt in my mind that people got screwed. And illegally.
I will say there were a lot of like requests at Supreme Title at that time to like do some shady stuff that we were like, absolutely not. Like, what are you talking about? And then the very last category on the photo filters is the seasonal ones. That's going to update based off of holidays. As you can see, all the dad ones are there. The next one will be for Independence Day. So those will be fun for your son, especially. He could literally take selfies with the frames, like all the American flag frames.
I swore to myself that if by age 5, if he was still into flags, then that was gonna be my rant from here on out, because that's what everybody kind of associates me to now. He's 4, and we're 3 years strong with these damn flags.
That's like so specific. I love it. Kids are so fun.
Yeah, every day.
So the last 2 categories, this is it. We have personalized videos and shareable calculators. Yes, and you know what this category used to be called? Lead generating calculators. So that's exactly what they are. But let's look at the personalized videos first. So when you see all, there's going to be less on here in this category than any other category, because they have to take the time to like animate these, and it's a lot. It's very time and work consuming. So this one's actually brand new, inventory rise. So that's cool. That's based off of the current market, but these ones are still really relevant. What is a seller concession? That's always going to be important. Rent versus buy, like you were super stoked about. And I literally said personalized video. Here it is. You can shape these for what you're using them for. None of them are going to be really longer than 1:30. Most of them under that. You have your caption. This one's even just 20 seconds. And it just looks nice. It's easy to understand for anybody. Easy peasy. And then boom shakalaka, where my headshot should be and where your headshot will be. But look at that. I mean, what? You just spent hundreds of dollars at a marketing company to get this. But just kidding. You spent pennies on the dollar based on how you spread that $10 for the year out. It's pretty fantastic in my opinion. And now the last one, shareable calculators, or as I like to call them, as they used to call them, lead generating calculators. It shows you how it works. And you share these directly to your social media, and this is what happens. So I always like to use this one. You do have, Megan, by the way, the rent versus buy calculator right there if you wanted to use that. But I like to use the equity calculator as my example because everyone wants listings, right? So you can choose the cover photo. I love this one. Like, I'm a girly girl, so I love the pink and the cotton candy look to it. It looks very Florida sunset. Also, are we gonna pick something that's wheat? Are we a wheat state? Not really. So it doesn't really make sense to me. Nebraska.
Never been.
Me neither. So once you select your cover photo, you can try it out. So let's try it out. This is going to be how your client or your potential client, your lead, would be seeing this calculator on your social media when they click the link. So step 1 of 3, what was your original purchase price? It was $300,000. My down payment, I put down $120,000. My loan balance now, I'm not like really sure, but I think it's like 170. That makes sense, right? No, maybe I think it's way less than that. I think it's like only 100,000.
I've never met a seller that had an accurate loan balance.
Exactly. That's why I'm doing it like this. So they don't know. Oh, how much is my home worth now? Oh, easy, $1 million. Without a doubt. Not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. So they put in $1 million. Now, do you want a more accurate estimate? And by the way, my nice little headshot should be up here the entire time. Allow me to pull some information for you. And now they put in their home address and their email address, send it to you, and you just captured a lead.
Okay. Or they can skip to the next step.
They could.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, they don't have to. And then it gives you the equity breakdown. But because they see something like this, they're going to want to reach out to you regardless. Whether they put in their information or not, you're going to get this lead. Because this is the most call to action you could ever have, right? So that's why I like to really say that for the end, because it's so impactful. Do you guys have any questions on this marketing side of the app in any of these categories that we just saw? I'm an amazing teacher. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Love it.
Do you guys monitor what the agents are doing? Or you just kind of hope that at the end they come to you?
Oh, you mean like if you're using this and then listing with another title company?
Well, like if they're doing their estimates there and they're Are you just hoping that at the end, they get the house, whatever they close with you?
Well, yeah, I mean, that is
You
the
don't
hope.
monitor anything?
Well, there is, yeah, so there's a back end of this app. Let me just